Tell us a little bit about Grandpa Ted. My Grandpa Ted, your father Ted, um, when he got done farming, what did he do for a living, and where did he work, and where did he retire, and at what age?
Grandpa sold the farm and he was not yet 60 years old, and he came to town and he got a job for Elhart Auto, which at that time was a Buick Pontiac dealership, and selling used cars. And it didn't go well at first. And the story goes that Mr. Elhart was coming to the used car lot to tell him that he thought maybe he wasn't cut out for sales. And he had a customer, so he went back to the other building, and he thought he'd let him go later. Well, he sold the car. So he thought he'd give him another chance, and he progressed, and he made a good living selling cars. And then General Motors come in to Elhart Auto and said, you're going to have to put up a new building. The building we were in was where the Center of the Arts is now, and there's no room for display of newer used cars. And he said, you're going to have to give up one of your franchises or build a new facility where there's room. And Mr. Elhart decided to give up Buick and keep Pontiac for sales. And my dad, of course, then they had more salespeople than what they needed. So Dad elected to go with Buick to Vandenberg Buick, and he worked there for a number of years. And then when I became a Pontiac GMC dealer, I said, Dad, when I'm selling Fords and you're selling Buicks, we're really not in competition, but we could be now. And if you'd like to come to work with me, I'd love to have you. And so that's what happened. So he came and he worked, and he had to be 70 at least. And we had a sales board like we have now. And if we were out for a ride after he retired and he hadn't been around the dealership, he'd have to go in and tell Grandma that he had to use a bathroom, but he really had to check the sales board, see how things are going. You never get over worrying about your kids. And these guys too, I can, if I had a nickel for every time I run upstairs in the collision center, I'd have a lot of money, because that's first thing you go is to see how things are going.
Yeah, that still doesn't change. It happens all the time. How were sales yesterday? So, yeah. So Grandpa helped me sell my very first car in 1976. It was an American Motors AMC Hornet Sportabout, chartreuse green. Sold it to Russ Jessic, partner with the Jessic brothers, now the Aldine Marina. And I'll never forget, he would take me down to City Kitchen down in Zealand for strawberry shortcake now and then. And I understand that you like to do that once in a while with your grandkids. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, that's fun to do that. We've done that with both boys, I'm sure. Yeah.
And Grandpa died in 1982. He was born in 1900, and he's 82 years old. And I think he sold his last car about within 2 months of. But let's go back to a second. When he was in the hospital, he had colon cancer, and when he was in the hospital, tell the folks what he wanted to do while he was there.
Well, he said, I don't have anything to do here, and there's people here that just are laying here doing nothing and not reading or anything. You bring some literature down. I'll give them some literature, and maybe one of them will want to buy a car.
And then he'd say, now, when you're ready, you go down and see one of those nice young boys at Wayne and Jim DeGraff, and they'll help you out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He was a great mentor, that's for sure.
He did, and he took Wayne with him when Wayne was still quite young. He believed that every barbershop should have new Pontiac literature. They shouldn't have to look at magazines when they could look at new car literature. So he'd go around the whole area, Holland, Zealand, Borculo, all the places, and drop off literature.
The good old days. That's right. And if we move on to some of the things that you really enjoyed, when you weren't working was boating. And I found actually got this. This is from the Escanaba Daily Press, and it's visiting boatmen find Escanaba a popular place to tie up for a week or a weekend. Pictured in the yacht basin are the Angel in the foreground with a harmony of East Lansing, Wide Track of Holland, Errant of Sheboygan, Wisconsin, the Snoozer Boozer Cruiser of Kalamazoo, and the Lindy of Milwaukee at dock along the harbor wall. This was in Escanaba. Do you remember?
I remember that, and I remember a young man that was with us that he brought his golf clubs along. I didn't golf. His mother didn't golf, but he had his golf clubs with him. And we had a dinghy and put his golf clubs in that and went across the Sturgeon Bay Canal over to a golf course and played golf.
And who was that?
That was you.
Oh. Yeah. Well, we had a lot of fun on our boat trips. So of all the boat trips that you and it took our family on, is there anyone that really stands out, or any particular time on that that you would want to remember?
And there's a picture of that boat here, a 27-foot Chris Craft. We wanted to go to Mackinac City and Mackinac Island, and we left, I think, Charlevoix, and we got up to make the turn to go down under the bridge into Mackinac City, and the wind picked up, and it rained, and it really, really was tough. We got behind a freighter and followed him. Then we had to leave him and go down into Mackinac City. And we got there and got tied up, and I forget whether it was you or your brother, but all you could say is, "Mamma mia, Mamma mia." And it was frightening, and I thought, you, Elhart, you really, really screwed up this time, taking those little boys and their mother out in this weather. But we made it.
Yeah, that was me. And what did Mom say? Did she was she excited to get back out on the water?
No, she wasn't too anxious to get back. No. But we had a great day coming back. We put the convertible top down. It was just a beautiful ride. But in boating, that's the way it is.